Hello! And in this video I'm building a sort of tram roundabout. So the eagle-eyed of you may have noticed that this roundabout isn't really necessary, like as a traditional roundabout. It's based off a roundabout in Bilbao, and I'm assuming that this roundabout is here to obviously cater for the tram that runs through it. So it allows the tram to run from the inside of two lanes to enable it to swap to the other side by creating minimal traffic and also allowing traffic to U-turn at this point, because it basically is just a normal roundabout. It's a interesting design because I was looking at designs online to try and work out what would be the best tram intersection, looking at interesting ones. Just different designs, really. So at the moment in the video here, I'm trying to make the tram tracks grass. The only problem is my theme at the moment. What would be perfect in this situation is to have like a grass theme, so that I could turn the concrete into grass, but I have to use decals instead, and that has the downside of it covering up the tram tracks. It's not too bad. Obviously could have gone into it, changed some stuff with themes and stuff, but the only problem is the easy way to do it, which is theme mixer, doesn't work for me. I don't know why. It's obvious. Well, it's obviously a mod confliction, but I don't know which one. So the only other way would be to literally work out how to change themes and stuff within the game, and I don't know. I don't know how to do that, and it's not something I want to do. I mean, I would have liked it to look more grassy, but it looks okay from a distance as long as you don't get up too close. So here you can see I created the middle of the roundabout. I just put some grass in the middle, put curbs on the outside to prevent people driving over it, added some ploppable asphalt around the outside edges to cover up some of those marks, really. So in real life, a bike path runs alongside the roundabout at this point, about here. So I add it because bike paths are interesting. They add a different texture and colour to the area, and obviously in real life they are very useful, more useful nowadays than ever before. And I separate the bike paths with King Leno's cement, raised cement props. They are very useful. The only thing I would like from them is some that aren't terrain conforming for different situations, but I'm just glad we have them because they are very useful for situations like this where I'm creating a median between two roads. Very useful. So you may have noticed that there actually are traffic lights on this roundabout, but they're only traffic lights in real life that would work when the tram is coming through. So for the rest of the time it would just be a normal roundabout, but when the tram is near to it, it would stop traffic and allow the tram to go through unimpeded. Now the only problem is in City Skylines, this is a bit difficult to do. I probably could have tweaked it and worked out a bit more on how to get it to work, but my understanding is that with trams, the traffic lights don't really work too well. I did have that situation where the trams were basically just ignoring the traffic light and just going through anyway, which sucks a bit. Also, cars tended to stop in the wrong place. They went through the traffic light and just stopped, and you may have seen in some of the cinematics that cars were stopped in weird places. Nothing much I could do about that, really. You could tweak around with the nodes and stuff, but it would just affect how the roundabout looks too much. So I went for more looks over how it works. I mean, it obviously still works fairly decently, but it looks a bit. It could have worked better. So to create this hash pattern, I used a lot of Move It because I wanted to get all the lines straight. So I just copied it over, copied the lines so that all the lines are in straight lines to the other lines. They're all parallel to one another, and it creates a very nice like look. Because you could draw it by hand, but it could be off at points. So this red decal for the bike paths, I believe I used it in my sunken tram station, and I didn't like the fact that there was a like difference in texture between the different decals. I got told by the creator that you have to rotate them 90 degrees and they blend seamlessly together, and they do. It looks very nice. They blend completely seamlessly. I wish I'd known that when I built this sunken tram station, but maybe I should read the description on mods more often. I think we're all guilty to not reading the description of mods, but it looks good now, so that's all that matters. So I felt that this area was a little bit empty, so I added a tram stop. In real life there is no tram stop here. Like I said, it just looked empty, and I was just adding a bit of something to this big empty grass area. And it is different to tram stations I've made before. I use this like concrete roof. I lower it down so it's basically touching the top of the tram. It maybe was a bit close at points, but I don't know. It looks okay. It looks okay. So we skipped ahead, and as you can see, there is a retaining wall there. I didn't put that in this video because if you've seen any of my other videos, there are many examples of me making retaining walls and walls. But if you don't know, look up Lost Gecko. His retaining wall assets, they're great. You can place them anywhere with Move It, raise them up or down, then use ploppable asphalt to cover the top, and then put decals on top of the ploppable asphalt to make it look more blend in with the area. Or you could use ploppable pavement now, which is out, so that it will blend in with the pavement. There you go. So I'm getting into a little bit of the detailing of the foliage. Nothing crazy, just some trees and some planters and along the edge of the road. Trees tend to have a calming effect on traffic, so these trees are here to slow cars down, because there are a couple parking spaces just beyond the trees, and cars pulling out into traffic will need a bit of a slowdown, really. So as you can see there, I've been trying to work more with grass and more like with dead grass, because obviously in real life grass isn't always green and lush. There are places where it's dead and places where it's dying. So I tried to tweak it and make it more just seem more real, which is very difficult. And I'm nowhere near happy with my techniques, so obviously they've got to improve. And if anyone has any good suggestions on making realistic areas of grass, big areas of grass, I'd be happy to hear, because I find that making a big area of just plain grass looks very plain and it needs something. So even though I had the idea that this intersection / roundabout was very new, I still wanted to just add tyre marks and wear, but I didn't want too much wear. So what I ended up doing is placing the wear decal down and then sinking it into the ground so that it's about 20% of what it used to be, and that makes it look like less worn than it would have, and actually adds a nice little like difference, because the worn decals are very great, but they are a bit too worn for some areas. It can be a bit tedious having to sink it down, but the best way is to sink it down with Move It and then just simply copy it and move it along. The only problem is you can't really use the prop line tool when you do this. You could draw with the prop line tool and then sync them all at once, but it's a catch-22 situation really. It takes longer obviously than just placing the decal. And I had a couple cracks and stuff just to like make it a bit more interesting, because it did look very plain, very modern. So we've reached the end of the video. There are some ending cinematics for you to watch. I hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.